Hello everyone, and welcome to some more No Wrestling! It is me here, Mark Sylvester, and as I'm a really big wrestling fan, I'm also a massive South Park fan. What I want to do is, I want to do the crossover between the two worlds, where I'm going to be doing a reaction to Season 13's Episode 10, W.T.F.
You took my girl, and you took my job! He took his job! He took his girl! Took his girl! Damn it, they took my job! Huh? What? They took his job. I know, shh. Oh, man, they took his job? They took a dog. They took his dog! They broke it there! Took it there! Fractured my jaw to where I couldn't eat! They broke his jaw! They broke his jaw!
Now then, guys, to find this show, all we need to go on to is either have the DVDs or the Paramount Plus or however else you watch South Park, like on the South Park Studios website, etc. You need to go on to Season 13, Episode 10, W.T.F. Now, this episode, guys, was first shown on October the 21st, 2009. And at the count of three, we'll begin. So, 1, 2, 3, let's go. And you have on all this, because I'm watching this on Paramount Plus, so you have the beginning here of all characters and events in the show based on real people in entirety and stuff, and you have the classic intro playing, which is having that sort of more sort of country, more sort of like crazy way that it's done. And it's quite interesting as well, seeing the intro where from this intro, it's kind of like showing you clips from different shows, all the kids saying their bits and stuff. And you've got the main guy from Primus like saying his lyrics and stuff. And then you have the really cool bit from like season 16, 17, where you have the more modern day way with the 3D sort of bits. And you got here as well showing the scene of the WWE ring with John Cena and Edge in the ring and stuff. And you got the Rednecks. Oh, I love the Rednecks. They took our jobs. They took our jobs. You know. And you can hear them as well, like watching the wrestling, because a lot of the best bits about wrestling is just the promos and stuff building up to the stuff as well. You can see Cartman wearing the iconic "Get the F Out" shirt. That's so cool. There we go. Call back to the previous episode where these guys lost their jobs. So good. That's why I love stuff. And you got the iconic ring there as well, and the entranceway of Raw and stuff. Because back at this time, being 2009, Raw was still having the classic like style look of it that they had for many years until about 2011, 2012, when it became more of the HD bigger look to it as well too. And you got all the different guys wearing all different shirts. And you got Tolkien there as well wearing the CM Punk shirt. That's so cool. And you got Jimmy wearing a DX shirt. Everyone else wearing like the WWE logo shirts as well. And you can see them all doing junior wrestling. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And you can see them all looking like the amateur wrestling. It's so funny because to them, wrestling is like WWF, WWE, like sort of stuff. I love as well, Kenny's still wearing like the muffled helmet. Everyone else is like normal, wearing like a normal helmet that you would see like Rick Steiner wear back when he was wrestling, and like classic people when Kurt Angle lost his hair and then he wore that helmet around his head, and you can see Kenny wearing the proper muffled one, and you can see him here like the coach teaching everyone and talking to them about like wrestling and stuff and amateur wrestling. You can see him teaching them and stuff. And you can see him like teaching them like, go on then. And you can see them trying to act like the wrestlers, like in WWE, like the character and stuff. You can see, no, this is actual like amateur proper wrestling and stuff. You can see them putting into the position, and they're both like, "What the fuck is happening?" It's so funny. And you can see Sammy Joe wrestling, and you can hear like the proper like southern style, because obviously when Ted Turner owned WCW, he was like, I'm now in the wrestling business. So I just love that bit. So good. And you can see this how he's just like, that's not wrestling. This is wrestling. Amateur wrestling is proper wrestling. And you can see them all leaving and stuff, and you can see Kenny is still, and you can see it's like, God, he's still got his thing over his head. And you can see WTF as Wrestling Takedown Federation, because obviously it's like homage to WF, because obviously they couldn't use the F anymore, so they're able to call themselves WTF. And you can see them as well, like talking about what they're going to do for the show and stuff, and it's all to do about the story. And you can see the steel chair, Butters as the referee. So good. and, and you can see me in the back of there with the steel chair. It's brilliant. And you can see Stan is heavily influenced by Steve Austin, and you can see the rednecks watching them see what they're happening. And you can see just how in the South, just all the wrestling fan stuff, and you can see these two as well. Oh, the promos are so good. And you can see more rednecks watching it, the background wrestling, and you can see both of them singing down, just talking. Promo up. And you can see that some of the guys be like, that kid was in Nam. I said, arranged by Panthers. Brilliant. You can see even more people coming down, like so saying boo and stuff, and it's brilliant. Oh, brilliant! The show's so funny. And you can see that's so inspired by Rey Mysterio. There he comes. And it's Kenny. Has to be. Oh, I love that. It's so that was brilliant. And you can see all these different rednecks and stuff all watching it and getting really involved in the wrestling, all the promo battle between these guys, all the different stories and stuff. You got Irene getting booed by all the fans and stuff. So good. And you can see the fans go boo, boo. This is so like telling of how amazing, like how they invested in stuff the wrestling fans can get. This is so funny. Ah. And you've got the amazing like spotlight on them as well. Like you can see a lot of wrestling when they're going up the proper promos and stuff. Jim with a chair in the drop kick. I love the fans just going, oh my god, this is amazing. So good. And you can see the amateur wrestling like coach is getting really pissed off hearing all this shit. It's amazing. It's like say about it ain't wrestling ain't real. I fucking love the rednecks in this show. They're so funny. Oh, I love this show so much. I love how he's so getting pissed off when Victoria gave him the newspaper. So good. I love that 180 there as well. Brilliant. You can see just how excited they are to have that try up for WWE as well. I love hats as well that it's like literally at some one of the kids' house as well, which shows that proper backyard wrestling feel to it as well. So you can see all the rednecks talking about what's happening with the show and stuff as well too, and what's going to happen now. It's like the second act. And you see the fan go, "Stop running, Juggernaut!" So good. It's a boy loco, and you go, "Ah, that's brilliant." Oh, I love that little like subtle like thing that if you know the characters quite well, it's like shows us how sad that Kenny's so poor that only can afford water, everyone else is having like soft drinks. And you've got the guys with the tryouts. That's so good. Oh yes, got a musical number. I love the musical numbers from South Park. Trey Parker's such a great musician as well. It's so good. The music he can do is amazing. He's so good. Oh, I love the real life pitch as well too of like the amateur wrestlers doing really well. Oh, 96. That's the year when Kurt Angle won his Olympic gold medal. That's really cool. Then you have the sign Ultimate SmackDown tonight. I love as well that he got him in like a proper booth and stuff of like the proper Broadway look thing. Triceratops. So fucking random. I love it. It's just showing that how in wrestling, like you can kind of do whatever you want to, as long as it works for the story. You can basically say and do whatever, as long as it makes logical sense and it actually is, you know, adds more to the story. Otherwise, it just becomes bollocks. Which is why this episode works so well because it's showing just the pure insanity, but also the pure like love and appreciation that people have for wrestling as well too. I love that. He's alive. I love that bit. You got it with the spectacles. So good. Or the binocular kind of things. Oh my god, I love I just noticed that. I love the way that the coach is walking. Like, every time he walks, he's like going into the pose. It's like that's so clever. I love the little subtleties that South Park have in all the like characters and different things as well too. And I love how Kenny, even though you can see his mouth really there, he's still mumbling. It's so good. He's still like going. you know, he still like sounds all muffled and stuff. Kenny, no! And he heard it, them saying, "You bastards," but that's oh man, that was brilliant. You can see him show the crowd and be like, "What the fuck am I watching?" And then they go, "Boo!" I love it. What? He's yeah. I love that, like the sort of it gets up because Joe's like they told him to shush, but then it's kind of like now we're gonna get it, and it's just gonna be even more cooler. So it's kind of like giving you that sort of like appetizer. Now going to be the main course, the amazing dessert bit. There you go. Chicken and dog. And he got the rooster. The cock. And you can see the crowd as well, like clapping and cheering and being like, "Yes, our boy!" So good. Oh, I just saw that. It's so cool. You got the fan, the redneck there with the what t-shirt. And then they're actually proper fighting and something. You can see all the rednecks and everyone being like, the Mexicans and the Latinos and everything being like, "Nah, fuck this." And there's like, "Ah, so good." And the classic ending theme. Then you got like the clip they would do for these kind of seasons showing back some of the stuff as well that's like happening from the episode itself as well too. So good. And yeah, guys, that was the episode of South Park WTF. I mean, that episode is amazing. It's just so funny. All the different references and all the great sort of like nuances in the show. That if you're a long time fan of the show, you've got like the rednecks going, "They took his job. They took his job." And then you've also got like as well when Kenny dies, you had the Latino crowd, like the Mexicans and people going like, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny, you bastards!" But obviously in Spanish because he was the Rey Mysterio Latino kind of character, you know, adding that sort of thing with the wrestling. Because also as well the fact that they had the crowd getting so invested in everything, getting so invested in the stuff as well, showing that actually as much as the wrestling in itself is really important, it's showing in the episode as well, especially that it actually becomes the actual like promos and the like what's happening on the microphone, the segments backstage, and all that kind of stuff is what helps put the butts in the seats. Because as much as a match between two wrestlers is great, you want that rivalry. You want the way to be like you know, why are these two men fighting? So then at the end of it, you can see the Rednecks when they're watching the actual kids proper fighting rather than just being like, this happened or this happened or this happened. You can see them being like, what the fuck is this? You know, I want to see proper wrestling, you know. It's just a great episode. I think it shows the love, but also the taking a piss out of wrestling. I mean, I love the coach as well because he's very much like, that's not wrestling. This is wrestling. And then when he talked about him losing his job, then his dog, etc., you can see like I mentioned in the reaction, them talking about the bit of being like, okay, then so you got the slight bit. I'm like, he lost his job, and then you can see just the build up of it then becoming like, he lost his dog, you know, and it's just having that sort of homage back to the classic episode of when they first introduced the Rednecks and did all that and stuff. And then the moment, like I mentioned earlier in the reaction, them at the restaurant and you have the four kids discussing what they want to do for the W.T.F show, and you can see because of how poor Kenny is, he only has a glass of water and the other guys have like soft drinks, kind of adding more to their character as well too. And I think as well, because even though throughout the episode you can, and they've done it in previous episodes too, we can actually see Kenny's face. I love the moment that when they're doing the amateur wrestling and then when they're doing the actual show, when Kenny is wrestling in the Rey Mysterio mask and when he's doing the amateur wrestling, that he actually has a proper mask that is like muzzling his face and stuff. And even though you can see technically his mouth is kind of uncovered because when he's in his Rey Mysterio inspired mask, you can see his mouth. He still sounds muffled. And even when he's in his wrestling, like amateur wrestling attire, you can see his whole and complete head is completely covered. And I love that, the little nuance of that as well too. And I just think for me, this episode is great. And even Trey Parker and Matt Stone really enjoy the episode. And I love to see their love and appreciation, but also them taking the piss out of wrestling of how Trey Parker and Matt Stone are, where even though they might love something or might appreciate it, they will still go through that way of taking the piss out of it, because that's why I love South Park so much, because they're happy to ridicule, support, applaud anything. As long as it works for comedy, they will do it. And that's why I think for me, guys, as a wrestling fan and as a South Park fan, this episode is great. This episode is hilarious. And if you aren't a South Park fan, but you do like professional wrestling, I feel like this is a great starting point of South Park, because it's one of those shows you don't really need to know many of the characters. I mean, the only thing I wish it had was Randy, because I absolutely adore Randy Marsh. Like, he is for me one of my favourite characters of all time in South Park and stuff. But I also believe that even though he's not in the episode, you can still really enjoy it. You can still appreciate and see why, when South Park is funny, how it can be hilarious and how it is just fucking random. It is just so fucking bizarre. It is what South Park is, that I think it's a great episode to watch. And if you guys get a chance to watch it yourself, being South Park, WTF, I'd highly recommend it, because this show is amazing and definitely worth its 5 stars. And I hope you guys can see, as much as I love this show, why the show is truly amazing and why it's still fresh after over 25 years and amazing as ever. And that, my friends, was my reaction of South Park Season 13, Episode 10, WTF. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what your thoughts about this amazing episode and how you think it compares to other homages or little references, etc., to other stuff like movies, cartoon, video games, etc. Love to hear you guys think. And also as well, guys, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to No Wrestling. This has been No Wrestling, guys. I have been your amazing host, as always, Mark Sylvester. And don't forget, guys, to take care. And always remember, they took his job. They took his job. Do-do-do.